Steve. I have two first-hand reports, one from family and one from a close friend in West Virginia. My family didn't even go to work today. They work at a casino. There's no water. They haven't showered. It's 95 degrees down there. Another person said they drove from West Virginia into Pennsylvania, and half the state or more had no power also. And my family's not prepared. I mentioned this earlier. And so this is happening. We also receive many emails. And the people are not prepared. And maybe this can be a short suffering for them, that they can wake up and see the importance of being prepared, and maybe it can open the horizons of people. But I see this as being trouble, because they say that the power companies won't, have the power back on until Wednesday, maybe even a couple days later.
Yeah, I ask you guys this: have you thought about this, Doug, with your investigative mind? By cutting off the power and cutting off the water, and doing that, you've got people's focus on everything other than what maybe they would have been watching had the power and water stayed on. You never never let a good crisis go to waste. You always move minute materials under wartime during the worst of conditions, because people are too consumed with their habits to notice what's going on. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, you might like to know this: 401ks go bye-bye, sayonara, auf Wiedersehen after the first of the year, and if you want to take money out of the country, 30% surcharge if you're allowed to leave the country. And oh, by the way, all those reports of FEMA camps and military roadblocks, every day, more of them. Oh, and all the helicopters that we were all mocked over, black helicopters, now they land on banks in broad daylight in Chicago. And guess what? I almost wish they'd paint them pink, But the point is, then they could celebrate their National Pink Helicopter Day.
Rainbow color for, never mind. Go on.
Yep. So here we're at, Joe, and this is what we've all got to ask ourselves. I guess I shouldn't say this. I would like to never have to answer another critic. I would like to never have to basically deal with it. But when you have, look, here's the deal. If someone wants to choose to not prepare, okay, and don't you wish, I can tell you this, my emails filled up with people said, oh, I wish I would have listened to you. Oh, I've been listening to you, but I thought you were such a fear monger. Okay? Well, guess what? Now you're living in the world I warned you about. See, again, I want to make a statement. This isn't mine. It's courtesy of the Lord. I think He gave it to me to settle me down, because quite candidly, it's tough sometimes to forgive, especially your critics when they are working for certain agencies and, blah, blah, blah. I'll just leave it at that. But and I challenge anybody to prove me wrong through the Word of God in this, because it's right out of the Word of God, based on Jesus said, which of the prophets have your fathers not killed? Now remember, these are Abraham's seeds that are whacking the prophets, okay? So he said, no word of God spoken by any man of God to the people of God at any time in history have the people of God ever received the word of God spoken by a man of God. My definition of a man of God isn't moral. It isn't being abrasive. Somebody called me a fake Christian because I'm not kind. Kind? I said, so tell me what you've ever done with your life, And I do get defensive, okay? Because look, the point is that we're running on empty, like that Jackson Browne song, okay? Running on empty. I heard it the other day, and Doug, it just said, Lord, that's a pretty good way. I'm not saying that's an inspired song. I'm just saying we're running on empty. You know this, when you're running on empty, you've got a little motion, but the time comes when the bloody vehicle stops, right?
Absolutely.
And when the bloody vehicle stops, you can wish you had more gas. You can try and convince yourself, well, I know there should be another 20 gallons there because, of course, the fuel tank is broken. Most people will explain everything away other than the single most important thing. Why didn't you have some extra water on hand when you could? Why didn't you have some extra food on hand when you could? Ladies and gentlemen, in my opinion, it's going to get difficult through the month after July to get long-term storage food. Please go to my website and take yourself avail. Doug, a lot of people, since I've been on your show with you guys, they've been calling Dry Harvest. They've been calling us. We're down to, I think, as of Friday, 34 boxes of chili with beans, and we've got a couple hundred boxes of chili without beans, but it seems like the mobility. But see, that was an introductory offer. I get a call from the guy that I buy it from, the Frederick Remington people, and they say, oh, and by the way, Steve, no, let me fill in the blank. Prices are going up, right? Well, I know the prices are going up because the corn farmers, and somebody sent me an email saying, Frank, God, the corn farmers in southern Indiana got some rain. But the point is that it's through the food system. It's becoming harder and harder. And you know what everybody wants that America had? They don't, I mean, they've already stolen our technology or had the, different administrations give it to them, but they want the one thing they don't have. They don't have the ability to feed themselves. Russia can't do it, and neither can China. And guess what? When you read the Chinese white papers, the Chinese general, I'd shake his hand, I'd sit down and buy him a steak dinner because he told the truth. He said, we have 1.2 billion, America has 300 million. If it's necessary to keep 600 million or 900 million Chinese alive, we'll take their food, we'll take their farmland, and because we can lose 300 million and we've got 3/4 of our population yet left. They lose 300 million, meaning the United States, they got nothing left, okay? And you guys, I think Roberts gave a signal to everyone when he was talking about, the Malta underground cave and stuff. Unless you understand the world of esoteric Luciferianism, okay, you wouldn't understand what he meant. I believe he was telling everyone that it's time to go to their ritual spots. Ritual spots may mean a place that they all go and, conjure up whatever demon they haven't conjured up before, or the latest or they just may have headed underground. Because and this is a critical thing for people to understand. For the first time in history, NASA has taken off all of its solar feeds. They're blaming it on a power outage. Isn't it interesting that the power outage happens when something may be going on in the sun that they didn't want anybody to know about because people could put two and two together? Remember, here is it. They are of their father, the devil. There is no truth in them talking about the Luciferians. So then how is it, Doug and Joe, seriously, how is it if that's true and the main networks are owned by the largest Illuminati conglomerates in the world, how is it that anyone has the expectation of truth from them? And if they believe they don't tell them the truth, then why are they listening or watching that and then challenging us to say, well, you can't be telling the truth because our Fox hasn't picked it up,
Yeah, I agree.